Welcome to the Search for Wellness podcast, where we embark on inspiring conversations to explore the many facets of health and well-being. I'm your host, Pooja, a certified fitness instructor, the co-owner of Beyond Body Fitness Studios. I'm also a qualified health coach, breath coach, and proud to say, a cancer coach. My personal journey towards wellness took a profound turn when I faced a cancer diagnosis 2 years ago. Despite leading a relatively healthy lifestyle, I realized that my understanding of well-being was limited at that time. This unexpected challenge ignited my quest for knowledge and a deep desire to restore balance and harmony into my body and life. Now, I'm here to share the wisdom and insights I've gained, because what's the point of all this knowledge if I can't share it? In today's fast-paced and stressful world, prioritizing our physical, mental, and emotional well-being is more critical than ever. This podcast aims to delve into a wide range of wellness aspects, from longevity, fitness, and supplements, to alternative practices like homeopathy, acupuncture, and sound therapy, as well as nutrition, diet, and innovative therapies. Through this platform, I'm committed to helping you make simple and sustainable changes that seamlessly fit into your daily life, empowering you to live a happy, healthy, and fulfilling life. Let's embark on this inspiring journey together and meet our special guest today. Meet Sansi, a devoted mother of 3 and a dedicated sales agent at Pam Golding Properties. She's passionate about 2 things in life: growing trees and promoting health. Certified as both a Reiki master and a body talk practitioner, she's committed to holistic well-being. In her free time, Sansi enjoys walking, swimming, and traveling. The ocean is her sanctuary, and trees provide her with essential oxygen. Sansi's multifaceted life is truly an inspiration. A very big inspiration to me, that's for sure. Welcome, Sansi.
Peter, thank you.
I'm so excited to have you here. It is our first episode and you are our first guest, and I have a very special relationship with you. And we've always had this very deep, meaningful relationship. I feel like a soul sister, soul to soul connection. So it's just, honestly, it's my pleasure to have you here today. So we're going to go straight into it. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Who is Sansi?
So I'll get to that, but just wanted to say thank you for having me. And I'm actually very, very, very honored to be here with you and to be the first guest. So yay, I'm excited for you. I think Kenya needed this kind of a conversation to start happening. So congratulations to you for doing it.
Thank you.
Who is Sansi? So, if I think about it, I feel that after the 4+ decades that I've been on this earth, I am someone who is learning lessons and experiencing moments, like magical moments, difficult moments. So I'm just a human being who's on this earth to experience things and take on the lessons. That's the deepest way I can put it, because to define yourself as a mother, aunt, employee, sales agent, whatever it is giving a description to something. But what is the fundamental of it? The fundamental, what I've observed in the last few years especially, is life will do this to you, and how we weather it determines who we become and shapes us along the way, right? We can respond to certain things in a very negative way, and then we become smaller, or we can respond to things knowing that it's something that's being done for us as opposed to us, and we can expand ourselves. So I'm a human being on a journey of life, and that's the best way I can describe myself.
And honestly, that is probably the best way anyone should describe themselves, because that we are all human beings and we're all on this journey. And I think until and unless we don't actually realize it and we're not aware of this, is being a mom, being a beautiful daughter-in-law, or a sister, anything. Those are all sleeves we wear. Yeah. Those are all just little jackets that we keep wearing and we keep changing. But being who the real person is you put it into the best way you can possibly put it, which is what we all are. We all have to make sure that we nurture that part of us all the time, and we are aware that we're all on this journey of ups and downs. highs and lows, connections, energies. Yes, a lot going on, which I'm so happy that you're aware of, and that we're here to bring that awareness. And hopefully everyone will also be a bit more aware about all of this. Yes. So let's talk about your plantation project. One of my favorite things about you actually is the fact that you are so into tree planting. And I love the saying that you created, and I've never forgotten it, when you said, it's not about planting trees, it's about growing them.
It's about growing trees.
It's about growing trees. And I just loved it. I mean, every time I hear it, I still get shivers down my spine. And I remember, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe? Or no, maybe about a year and a half ago, when you messaged me and said, okay, we're going to plant these trees. And we went to Karura and we planted trees, and I felt so phenomenal and so fantastic, because I was on one of my lowest lows at that point.
Yeah.
And you really helped me. And then the second time round, I took my kids with me, and they were so excited and they loved it. And, you know, this is what they need to do. This is what they need to learn. This is what they need to understand. And I'm just so happy and so glad that you do this. So please share a little bit about that and how it started and everything.
So, you know, my journey with trees has, I guess, always been there, but it started in 2018 in a very profound way. I'd had a terrible experience in 2007 where I had 2 people break into my apartment and ruffle us up and threaten to do all sorts of things that left me pretty damaged. And I spent the better part of 15 years in this space of like stress and strain, and didn't want to go out at night. I was always in fight or flight or freeze mode, like constantly just stressed. And when I walked into the forest, I felt peaceful. And it was a place that I could go, whether it was 6 in the morning or 6 in the evening. It was a place where night fell or there was darkness and I didn't feel scared. So that's when my sort of love affair with the forest in particular here started. I mean, there's many forests around the world, but here, this one is very special, right? We can, for a woman to be able to go there without dogs or other people and just be completely alone and be able to walk around safely is huge. And then I just thought, you know, I get so much from this forest. What can I do to give back? So I put my volunteer arm up and said to the forest, to the board, what can I do? How can I give back? And so I now sit on the board of Friends of Karura Forest. And I said, but I still want to do more. What can I do around trees? And how can we protect this space? And then sort of connect the dots and thought, if we can get the kids to make this their sanctuary, to make this their second home, to make this the like tree planting an activity they do permanently, or as often as they can, and it becomes something that's built inside them, then they will look after forests going forward. If they walk in the forest and they feel what nature does to you, they will protect the forests going forward. So then we started going into the forest with the kids, and you know, whenever possible, whenever the rains came, I just put a little WhatsApp group together and said, come on, let's go and take the kids, let's go and plant trees with them. And it was I didn't know what it was going to become, but it's become this beautiful thing now where you can do it as a family. The kids have such a deep connection to it. Some don't, but a lot of them do. And then from there it grew into what's now called GROW, which is an urban forest initiative. So at the moment we're planting a lot of our trees in the forest, and we say planting, but it's actually growing. And why I love going to the forest is because they will make sure that they look after those trees for the next 3 years. And there's so much that happens around that one little tree seedling, because they'll employ people from the community, and give them jobs. So the forest will give them jobs to make sure they look after these trees. First of all, they dig the holes, then they prepare the areas, then they help with the planting, and then they look after the trees going forward. So you're helping on so many different levels, and then they grow that tree. And that is so symbolic of the kids you're taking to go and grow these trees, right? Because the trees need to be nurtured, but the kids also need to be nurtured. And then you can see that symbiotic relationship between the two of them. So hence GROW came out. And now the forest is inundated with so many people who want to go and plant/grow trees there. So just this morning, I sent a voice note to someone and said, listen, I'd love to bring some tree seedlings to you, and maybe we can plant in your garden, because we're really stuck with finding space to grow to grow trees, and at least that way people can look after the trees, make sure they grow, even if it's not raining. They can get outside, make sure they plant the trees. So water the trees and make sure they grow. And so I've now got 84 people who have asked for tree seedlings, and we're going to go and take some trees to them, tree seedlings, on the weekend, and they'll go and grow trees on Monday in their back gardens. Now imagine if we could multiply that throughout all of Nairobi. Wouldn't that be amazing? If everyone could do 2 or 3 trees in their homes and look after them, or you do a tree for a child's birthday, or a tree for a christening, or a tree for some special event in your life, a wedding anniversary or something, and you just put them in your garden, you're adding so many more trees into this ground, into our nature, that's separate from the forest, but then you're creating your own mini forest at home. That would be so amazing. So hopefully let's give birth to that and see where it goes.
I love that. And I love how you said that it's nurturing the tree and you're nurturing the child within, because I totally saw that with my children. And, I remember that day when we did go to the forest, and I don't know who was speaking that day, and he was saying that this tree you're planting, you probably won't even see it. But somebody else will see it, and somebody else will be amazed by it. But your child is going to go to the forest, maybe, 50 years old, adult will go, and he'll be like, I planted this tree. I mean, just that. It's just an amazing thing. The way you give back by just planting a tree is so huge, and it's so simple. Also.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
It's so simple, and it's so much bigger than you, right? It's so simple, yet it's so meaningful. So,
Oh my God, it's just so amazing. And I'm so glad that you do this. Honestly, I'm so grateful for the forest, and for the fact that this is happening. Like, my kids get to see that, their kids will hopefully get to see this. It's an understanding, it's an education, it's an awareness.
It's an awareness, exactly. It's the creating the consciousness around it, right? I feel we've gone through so many years of being so unconscious. All the devastation is happening, all the destruction is happening, is because there's a generation of people who just grew up very unconscious.
Exactly.
And now it's this consciousness is now coming. We have to look after Earth. We have to look after Mother Nature. We have to look after ourselves. Health, everything.
We have to look after our body.
Yeah,
exactly. No one is coming to do the work for you. You got to do it yourself.
No, exactly.
That's what I keep telling everyone.
Exactly.
So I'd like to also speak a little bit about your Reiki. Since you're a Reiki master, I'd love to. I also practice Reiki myself. My Reiki journey started when just right after I got diagnosed. It was so weird how my Reiki master came into my life, because what happened was, it was during COVID, and my husband was really sick and he had COVID, and just before that I'd just been for my pap smear, and my gynecologist called me and he said, it doesn't look very good, it could be cancer. And I'm like, okay, you're telling me this over the phone, and I have COVID right now, I can't even come for a second check, I can't do nothing. And Rupen was really bad. My husband was really bad. He was in a really bad state. He was almost hospitalized, and he had really low oxygen levels. And then my mum, my beautiful, beautiful mum, she managed to introduce me to this lady from Bulgaria, who's my Reiki master now, Maria. And she was like, can I do some Reiki on him? And I was like, yes, sure, please, if you can. So she started to explain to me what Reiki was, and then she did it on him, and she said, he seems fine. I don't think there's anything to worry about. And I'd never even heard of remote Reiki. And at that point, my husband didn't even believe what she was doing. He was just like, what is this? And then she was like, can I do it again on him? And he was just like, no, I'm not interested. So I said, oh, can you do it on me? And then she was like, actually, yeah, let me do it on you. So randomly, I was already feeling better and stuff, but I was still 2 weeks in quarantine and stuff. So she was like, okay. She did the Reiki on me. She just told me to lay down there and stuff. In the evening, she's like, can I call you? And I was like, okay. So she picks up the phone and calls me, and she goes, there's something wrong with you. And I'm like, excuse me? And she's like, you're not well. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm not well? And she's like, there's something inside you that is not well. And I would definitely advise you to go to the doctor, to the hospital, and go and get yourselves checked. So I told her about my pap smear, and she was like, oh my God, okay, you really need to get this sorted out. And it blew me away. The fact that she sensed that from a remote place. She doesn't even know me. She knows nothing about me. And she sensed that. And then after my diagnosis, she initiated me and taught me how to do Reiki on myself. And ever since that day, I have done Reiki on myself every single day without fail. And I think it is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
hands,
Yeah.
healing.
Yeah. It's just that when you're attuned to the vibration essentially of the universe, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to believe it, right? But it's amazing what can be done remotely.
Yeah.
So my journey with Reiki started after Body Talk. So I studied a series of different things that got me into Body Talk, but had a sick child when I was younger, had been on antibiotics 4 times when he was, I think, under the age of 1.5.
Okay.
And I ended up spending probably the better part of 8 months with a child who was diagnosed asthmatic. And I think it was related to the antibiotics because it just killed his system.
Yes.
So he was diagnosed asthmatic and put on Ventolin, which used to make him shake like this, and then a steroid inhaler. And I spent the better part of 8 months waking up anywhere between 4 and 8 times a night. And most often with sort of an extra pajama, a towel, a nappy, because I'd have to either throw him over the bath to make, because he would be coughing so much he'd throw up.
Oh no.
Or he'd end up throwing up in the bed if I was just too tired. So 8 months of just this interrupted sleep. My poor son is coughing. I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what to do. I'm put on so many, like he was put on so many different medicines. We were told to change the carpets in our house, to do all sorts of different things, and nothing was working. And then I went to go and see a lady called Sissel, who I think you're going to speak to soon.
Yes.
And she's a cranial osteopath. And I was at my wit's end, and she said, okay, let me see what I can do on him. And she touched his chest, touched his tummy, did a whole bunch of different stuff. And then all totally uninvasive. Like, it was amazing. And then she said to me, do you trust me? And I said, I'll trust anyone today. And she said, don't put him on any medication tonight. So my husband at the time was against all of this and was like, absolutely, you need to medicate him. But, you know, he'd seen how broken I was at the time. So he said, fine, I'll just support you in this. So I didn't give him any medicine. And since then, my son has never been back on a steroid inhaler.
Amazing.
And we were trying to wean him off for like months. And then Ventolin as well, he stopped. I think he's taken it once or twice since then, but just in acute situations, otherwise not at all. Mm-hmm. So that fascinated me. I'm like, what did she do? And how can I do that to help people? And then I had this fascination around, you know, kids can't speak. Kids can't tell you what's wrong with them.
Yeah.
You know, if they have a stomachache, is it anxiety? Is it actually a stomachache? Is it food poisoning? What is it? You just don't know. And so I happened to see a lady called MJ. I was on search for my own personal health
I remember
journey.
MJ.
MJ.
Amazing.
Exactly. She's amazing. So I went to go and see her, and I was horribly late. And those who know me, sometimes I have those issues where one meeting, like I'll talk so much that one meeting then blends into another. So I was horribly late to go and see her. I think about 15 minutes or so. And then she was on a phone call, and I said, just take the phone call. And I saw this sort of plaque on her wall saying there's a Body Talk course, and I'd never even heard of Body Talk. I was there. I'd heard of it, but I'd never had an experience of a session before. So just told her I'd like to sign up. It was in a week from then. I said, I'd like to sign up. She's like, you don't even know what Body Talk is. I'm going to send you some information and then come back to me later. I said, no, I'd like to sign up. And then I didn't have enough money, so I said, can I pay in installments? And then, as the universe does, suddenly there was money that appeared out of nowhere, and I could pay for the course. So I took Body Talk from the perspective of not necessarily knowing what it did, but intuitively understanding that there's a way to help people. And for me, it was about trying to get answers out of kids that kids cannot tell you what's going on. Mm-hmm. So how can we help them? How can we best support them? And then COVID hit soon afterwards, so we had to do remote healing. And I always knew that for me, remote healing was the way I wanted to go. Mm-hmm. It's probably a little bit more challenging because you question yourself a little bit more. But then Reiki came into it, and now what I find myself doing, I took the Body Talk course, I certified as a certified Body Talk practitioner. I don't practice nearly enough as I'd like to, but my life has got quite a lot of things going on. But over time I've found that Reiki is really strong. Like when you're attuned and you really believe and you match up with the frequency of the universe, amazing things can happen very quickly. So like the other day, my son got a fractured toe. And you don't know, right? Because it's remote. And like you said, it's like you don't really know what's going on. But you do whatever you can. And the next thing you know, 2 days later, he was told he's got 2 weeks off his feet. 2 days later, he had taken off his little bootie. Like a couple of days later, he was walking And it's like, oh, what happened? You okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. I can play. I'm okay. I can play football. So I find that these remote healings, these energy healings, consciousness-based healings are very powerful. And I think they're not given enough credit. But at the same time, in the last 2 to 3 years, we've seen such an emergence of them.
Yeah.
Because medicine, modern medicine, Western medicine, which is based on the allopathic theory. I think it's like basically that, you know, your eye operates on its own, your heart operates on its own.
Exactly.
It's
Everything
no longer,
is disconnected.
Exactly. You can't apply that anymore.
Yeah.
So you have to look at dynamic systems theory, which says that, you know, what happens in your shoulder is related to what happens in your liver. What happens in your gallbladder has an impact on what happens on your big toe.
Yeah.
Everything is connected. And when we understand that, then I think we then look at health from a holistic perspective, a real holistic perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my small little journey with Reiki and with Body Talk.
And you know, you're right. I mean, if we don't look at health as a whole, there is no point to it. You know, I mean, many of the times people forget that this stress, mental health, all of that is related to the body. It's all connected. It's all connected. It's not that your brain is separate, your head is separate and is walking around separate from your body. Anything you put into your head, it is reflected directly onto your body. And going back to what you were saying about Reiki being so beneficial for kids, I like even now psychologically, my kids, like, even if it's not beneficial, it's like the placebo effect for them. It's like, Mommy, can you do some Reiki on me? I'm not feeling well. Mommy, can you just, like, they're the only little people I do Reiki on is my kids, and I do it on myself, and they'll be like, I'm not feeling well, can you do Reiki on me? And the next thing you know, they'll be like, and now after going to Cancun and going for my lovely meditation retreat with Dr. Joe and becoming a healer, becoming a healer actually, not a healy. Every time they're unwell now, that's what I do. I do my my Dr. Joe healing on them, which again, exactly what you said, is my child usually would be sick for a week or, 2 weeks and out of school and finished, wiped out. Now, nope. 2 days, maximum.
2 days.
Maximum, and then that's it. 1 day, high fever. Again, I don't give them any medication. No medication at all when they have a fever. I let the body, the immune system is working. The fever is there to tell you, hey, I'm here, I'm your immune system, and I'm working. Leave me alone. Usually when kids are sick, they don't want to eat. Yes, don't force them to eat, because that is actually, their immune system is working so hard. The last thing your immune system wants is you scoffing down food, and then it has to go back to the gut and has to start clearing up the gut again. So listen to your body. Don't eat anything. Be on liquids. 2 days, literally, and they're fine. They're back in school, and no snotty nose, nothing. No, I mean, and if there is anything, then I'm at the homeopath. That's like,
and treating them in the way that isn't going to further block them up.
Exactly.
Body talk teaches us that a lot of the ailments that we have is related to blockages that you have in the system, which means that the body cannot communicate to itself properly, and therefore it doesn't know how to heal itself, because the body is the best healer.
Exactly.
Right? You cut yourself, especially when you see kids, they cut themselves, they heal so quickly.
Yeah.
But as we get older, we see that cuts don't heal as quickly, and that's related to the fact that the body, the communication inside the body gets broken down.
Yeah.
So if you can manage that and you put your body back in balance, and you do that with your Reikis, with your body talks, with any of these that work on, especially like you said, the belief systems that we have in our heads, the mental health is so important for having a healthy body. Because if you're constantly thinking like negative thoughts, that will translate into the body.
Exactly.
So if you can put your body in balance and the body holds this. There's a book I think called The Body Holds the Score. I haven't read it yet, but it keeps track of every thought that you have, every experience that you have, everything that's happened to you. It's internalized in the body.
Yeah.
So how do you get rid of it? If your body's in balance, it will figure out how to eliminate it in various different ways. But if it's not, then it's just going to get clogged up inside you, and hence various different issues that will happen. Whether it's a bad knee, bad hip, cancers, all that kind of stuff comes in, right?
Exactly.
So, but I do believe that if you put your body in balance, you'll heal. Your body will know how to heal itself.
Heal itself,
best.
exactly.
Yeah.
It knows how to. I mean, you see a dog, you see a cat, any animal in the wild gets injured or gets hurt, whatever, gets sick. They know how to heal by themselves. The body starts to heal by itself. It's completely natural. All the time. Also, most people feel like we're cut off from nature, but we belong to nature. We're a part of nature. And being in nature is so important also. Hence why being in the forest is just so zen.
There's a grounding. So I don't know,
Yeah.
do you do a lot of grounding?
Yeah.
So there's so many stories that come up nowadays about how we've lost touch with grounding. And grounding, because we're so electrified now. We've got rubbish-soled shoes and we don't get to earth anymore. And that's creating a lot of our imbalances because we're just so electrically charged now. But if you just go into the forest and you walk barefoot for a little while, or just put your feet in the grass, or find some little patch where you can put your feet down for a bit, you'll take a lot of your stress away. And there's, I think, in the Japanese tradition, there's called forest bathing, and people go in there if they're very, very, very sick. They'll go into the forest for like a week and just just stay in the forest, and then they'll come back out completely new people.
Really,
and it's related to the trees releasing certain hormones into the air as well as the ground. Nature has everywhere. Like the human body and nature can work very well together to heal themselves. Right? Nature knows how to heal the human body. The human body knows how to heal itself if it's connected to nature. But we don't do that anymore. So hence that's why so many people are so sick nowadays. And we're jamming everyone with one medicine after another that's all synthetic and doesn't help at all. So
it's basically like you're digging a hole. You're filling it up with some one medication, but you've taken another hole and you've dug that one now, and now you've dug another hole, and then you're trying to fill that one up. But there's always going to be a hole and a gap somewhere.
There's going to be a hole, but you're putting cement on top of it. So then at some point, like, there's no communication, there's no way for the water to get back down or things to happen or organic matter to sort itself out, like nothing. So,
I mean, we come from the planet Earth, we have to go back into the planet Earth, we go back into the ground. So we have to make sure that we understand that we are nature, we are part of nature, we come from nature, and we're going to go back into nature. So talking about body talk, I want to talk a little bit more about it, because my experience with you and body talk was also really good. Is when after I got diagnosed and we met that day in the forest and we spoke deeply and very meaningfully about it. And then you started doing a little bit of body talk on me then. And I felt like it really helped me. And again, exactly what you said is you have to believe that it works for it to work. Do you do body talk for children? Like, do you give it to your, like, do your kids have that as like a mechanism to use, a go-to to like, center themselves again?
So they often ask me, Mama, can you please do body talk sessions on me? So whenever they need to, then I'll just do whatever I can on them. There's a technique in body talk called cortices, which I try and teach them every single day, but for kids it's like a bit difficult. But whenever I'm doing my cortices, so I do what's called the access protocol in body talk, which is balancing basically the whole body. Then it's a stress reliever by pressing on your eyes and holding 2 points here. Then it's a hydration of the entire body chemistry, which is supposed to attack any viruses that happen. It's basically to alert the brain, is there any problem inside the body? And you do that by using a bit of saliva and putting it into your belly button. Belly button then sends the information through your body. Is there any issues with the body? And then balancing out the musculoskeletal system of the body by doing what's called reciprocals. So you hold top of your hip, top of your shoulder, and just go all the way through the body. So you're aligning all the energy inside your body, the Wei Qi, inside and outside. And I do that every single day. When I do that, I set the intention I'm doing it for my kids as well. So whether they know it or not, they're getting something.
Oh, wow.
But whenever they have deep issues, like, so my son last night, 1 o'clock in the morning, was struggling with croup, and I won't medicate. So I'll treat with essential oils, but then I'll also just do a series of different body talk, either techniques, depending on how tired I am, or if I can focus and hold a proper session, then I'll do it on him. Keep him at home, keep him on fruits, water, and then usually, like you said, in 2 days, you're good. In a different scenario, he could be taken to the hospital, put on a nebulizer, given an inhaler, and then he starts his journey in the medicine world as opposed to in natural form. So his body is now learning how to fight it. He usually bounces back so quickly. I do sessions a lot for kids, more for adults, because what you tend to see is that you need to shift before your kids shift. If a mother shifts, in particular if a mother shifts, and she has her own emotional balance. So what I've often observed is that if, let's say, I'm working on myself and I shift my belief systems, or I change the way I look at something, my perspective on something, I'll see automatically that impact on the kids. So yes, I do like to work on the kids because they have their own stuff going on. But oftentimes when you see a child, it's like, okay, you can see the direct link to the mum or the dad. Oftentimes it's the mum, because I feel like as mums, we always worry about stuff and always think, are we doing a good enough job and so that then translates into the kids in some way. So Body talk is very much now connected for me with the Reiki, and whenever I'm doing a session, what I love about body talk is it works on priorities. So I may think, okay, this person's told me that they've come at me with, they're not feeling great at the moment, maybe they've got a headache, they've got a sore throat, something has happened, and then in the body talk session we'll find out that it's actually, maybe the liver's not communicating to the gallbladder, or they've got a belief system about something that happened to them when they were 15 years old, and that now has an impact. So there was one session I remember doing on someone, and what came out, and I was like, God, this is completely unrelated to what her symptoms are. And within a day, all of her symptoms had gone. She had cold, flu, all this kind of stuff. We dealt with only emotional things that related back to childhood, and then everything shifted. I was like, wow, that's amazing, because body talk will deal with priorities.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, different modalities will address the symptoms. So we've seen that, right? Because we've been raised in a culture which will address symptoms. So we're used to doing that. We're used to saying, okay, you've got a cold, that must mean you have blah, 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 virus, bacteria, whatever it is. But actually, it could be something completely different that's now just ready to shift. It's ready to come up, and it needs to get out of you. And so it will manifest in physical form, and you need to get rid of it. So I love body talk that it deals with priorities. It follows a protocol and procedures chart. It's completely objective. All you have to do is make sure that you don't influence the answers that come out. So you have to make sure that, like, as a practitioner, you get into an alpha state of mind, and that you just listen to the biofeedback, and if you're doing it remotely, you can get yes and no answers based on, like, either you work on a teddy bear or you intuitively pick up the yes or no answers, and then that informs oftentimes what's happening in the body. So it's fascinating, it's amazing, it's multi-layered, it's based on consciousness. It brings in everything from every aspect, whether it's acupuncture, the numerology, any of that kind of stuff, all encompassed in body talk. So for me, it's exciting. I have to get better at it. I have to study more. But I see a future in modalities like this, especially as we are rising. Like, Earth is rising. Human beings are rising. So our problems of today are not necessarily going to be the problems of tomorrow. And the tools we are treating with today cannot even manage what's going on for us today. Like, all the stuff that used to work for so long can't keep up with our issues that we have today. So modalities like this, Reiki, all this kind of stuff, intuitive healing, will all, I think, become modalities of the future. Actually today, but also much more important in the future.
But it's a cycle, right? Because it's probably where we started.
Yes.
That's where we began,
and
now that's where we're going again.
Yeah.
That's how our ancestors used to heal themselves.
True.
And
True.
Everyone had their intuition, and their intuition was very powerful, and that's what led them to many things before. Whereas now we listen to this second mind of ours that's always like saying, do this, do that, do that. We're so exterior, and we forget about that intuition. But if we reawaken that intuition again, it's still there. It's always been there. It's just, you need this type of stuff to reawaken it, to strengthen it, to build it up again. And
it's true.
It's amazing. Oh, wow. I just love it. It's so good. So I wanted to go into a little bit more about the new thing that you are up to at the moment, which is so exciting also, omega-3 oil.
Omega-3. So I'm early 40s, early 40s, and I found myself with different sort of issues. So one of the things I was diagnosed with, maybe, I think it was 2020 or 2019, was a pseudotumor in my eye. So my eye is being pushed forward, and we don't know what it is. And I was told immediately, take a steroid. And I was like, no, doesn't sound like it's a good idea for me. So then it's like, okay, what do I need to do in order to try and manage this myself? So body talk helped a lot. And then, but over time, over the last 3 years, especially when I wake up in the morning, because it's pushing out a little bit, there's not enough liquid that comes around the eye. So it takes me like sort of 15 minutes to really sort of open the eye. In July this year, I was on the phone with a beautiful friend healer of mine based in Lamu, and she was, at the time she was in Norway, and she's like,
Annette,
and she was like, Tansy, you've got to learn about this oil, it's amazing, it's fantastic. And she was so passionate about it, and she came at me with so much information, and I was like, okay, but like, I don't take supplements, because at the time when my eyes started giving me issues, I went to go down that supplement route and took a bunch of different supplements, and it just got worse, and everything just got worse in my body, and I was like, oh, forget it. But I think a lot of the supplements nowadays are you don't know what you're actually putting in your body.
Yeah.
Right? Like you just don't know.
There could be a lot of crap in them. You have to really get your supplements from a really good source.
From the right place.
And then from the right place. And this is why it's also very important to have a functional medical practitioner on board, because they can source out your supplements from a right place. They will tell you which one to take and which one not. They know which brands are not being,
not legitimate.
Yeah, they've been, coated and layered with other stuff. And the actual essential stuff that's in there that you really, really need, the pure omega-3, for instance, it's not even there.
Yeah,
it's like very little. Yeah.
So I gave up on supplements ages ago. Every so often I feel like I have this reawakening of, oh my God, I should take my omega-3s because I don't eat fish. And you hear that omega-3 is very important. We know that. We know that the fatty acids in our bodies are basically, all our cells in our bodies are made up of these fatty acids that we need. So we need to have them. So I just shelved it. And then Annette was like, you need to have this oil, blah, blah, blah. And again, I was going through a lot at the time, so I just shelved it. In that same week, I spoke to my Mayan calendar reader. I have a guy who reads my Mayan calendar once a year or twice a year. We go through it. Yeah, he's amazing. His name is Edmundo. He's based in Mexico. And it's phenomenal how on point he is. Amazing ancient wisdom. So I was on the phone with him and I said to Edmundo, how are you doing? And he's like, Sansi, I nearly died 2 months ago. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, I was on the tennis court and I just collapsed. And I was rushed to hospital and they said I had inflammation in the brain. He's like, I don't know where that came from. I eat healthy, I exercise, I look after myself. And suddenly I had this inflammation in the brain and I collapsed. And he was very much against the idea of taking all this other medicine. So a friend of his told him about a product called Zinzino, or a company called Zinzino that had a bunch of different products. One of them in particular was balance oil. Balance oil, so if we know that inflammation comes from too many omega-6s in our body, right? So we need enough to help us with battling certain things, like having enough omega-6 allows us to clot the blood, all that kind of stuff. But too much omega-6 puts our body out of balance. So it's about balance again. So Zinzino has a product called Balance Oil, which has a very pure version of omega-3 that is carried by an olive oil, a very high it's an olive oil in high polyphenol count.
Yes.
Okay. So the olive oil is a much heavier carrier and can maintain the omega-3 without oxidizing. So a lot of the omega-3s you'll take will have oxidized, and then it becomes not as impactful, not as effective. But this particular one has been formulated in such a way that when you ingest it, pretty much 100% of it goes into your body in the right way. So my journey with supplements, I started taking it. I was like, okay, I don't like taking supplements, so I'm not a huge fan. But then I said, okay, fine, let me dedicate my time to this. I'll stop everything else, the magnesium, the B complex, all the other stuff I was taking.
And just take that.
And just take this and let's see what happens. And then about a month into taking it, suddenly I noticed I could open my eye in the morning. And I was like, why can I open my eye? And my kids have a bed on the floor and I used to kind of struggle to get up. And I was like, I exercise every day. Why am I struggling? And now I can get up no issues. And that's the only thing I've changed in my diet. So to me, it feels like a little bit of a miracle. I'm still exploring with it. But I've heard so many amazing stories from it, such as like Annette's daughter, for example. And I hope Annette's okay with me telling this story, but her daughter had psoriasis, like very, very, very bad psoriasis. And after a month, the psoriasis had mostly gone.
Wow.
So again, it just goes to prove that when the body is in balance, when you have the right nutrition and everything else, like that, the body knows how to heal itself. So it's not a miracle drug itself, but it gives
just
the body
booster.
what it needs. Exactly.
Where's the omega-3 from? Like, where do they source the omega-3 from?
So typically from mackerel, sardines, all these things, very, very...
So it is fish-based.
Deep sea.
Okay.
There are some algae, vegan ones, so based on algae. So it does cater to
both.
A variety of different people. The company's been going for about 14 years.
And where's the company based?
Based in Norway, and it's test-based.
So you are like the person who can sell this?
So... you can
like
buy
you're
it,
their representative.
You can buy it on the internet. There's a bunch of different people doing it, but I'm happy to put you in touch with the right people. Okay. Yeah.
And how does one get?
So I'll send you the contact details.
Okay.
But you could. There's a website. I can send you all the details. You can do research. There's something called Zinzino TV, so you can get all the information from there. And then we can link you up with the right people, and then you can take it from there. But I have some samples which I can give to people. I just believe in it so much. So my dad has always been an influence in my life about health, and so I've given it to him, and he's like, I just feel like I want to do more stuff. So there's this like sense of vitality that you have. And we struggle nowadays. There's so much stress that we have.
Yeah.
And that vitality is gone. And so like, we're all like, oh, I have more vitality. I have more energy than I used to have. So I believe in it. And I think it's just amazing. So I can share some more details with you, which we can put
in the links and in the caps and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing because we're all looking for a way to better our health, to create more wellness, create more balance. And oftentimes you don't know, you're almost lost for what you need and what your body requires. So this is something that would be definitely important to have. I, at the moment, do take an omega-3. It is also it's plant-based, it's a vegan omega-3. And I'm hoping that it works and I'm hoping that it helps. However, my issue is that I do take also a lot of other supplements.
Other stuff, yeah.
So I might try what you're saying and take a break from the other supplements and just take the omega-3 and see. Because I do have these little rheumatoid arthritis type of joint pains that keep circulating around my body currently. And we're still trying to figure them out. Is it mold toxicity? I was told, yes, it could be mold, but I don't really have any mold in the house. But it could be that I'm just allergic to mold in general. Any mold around the world, anywhere in the planet, I'm allergic to it, good or bad. So I'm like, okay, that is a struggle. It could even be hormones related. But I don't know.
That's
Let's
fascinating.
See. Who knows?
So what's interesting about this company is it's test-based.
Okay.
So you take a dry spot blood test, and then it will do an analysis on your blood test.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then you can actually see the before and after effects. So, and that's kind of, I think, where the future is going, test-based nutrition, because we're not just going to take hearsay anymore.
Exactly.
A lot of people can go on intuition and see how you feel, but there's a lot of people who say, listen, I want to know this is having an impact. You don't want to go to the shops. There's so many things that we're ingesting, and we're like, God, I had no idea that I was putting that in my body.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many companies nowadays that are flogging, like Frosties, for example, right? Frosties. How many times did we used to give Frosties to our kids when they were younger? So many times, right? Yeah. I used to eat Frosties when I was younger. And then now in places like Japan, it's been banned officially, like it's off the shelves because it's so bad for you. So I think the future is now going to be test-based, and this company is like that.
And I think you're so right. The Frosties, I still remember we used to get I used to love getting that little packet, like, where you get 10 of the little ones.
Exactly.
Barely anything in there, so you'd eat like all 10 of them at one go even. And that was like your breakfast, sugar.
That was your breakfast, and it's Tony the Tiger, and they're great, You've got all that.
And then you have the milk on top of it.
Milk, and you put Cocoa Pops in there.
The hormones filled with milk on top of it, all of it. It was it's crazy, right? It's so true. I don't even think my kids know what Frosties is.
You see it now, how amazing that. My kids have definitely grown up with Frosties, and trying to pry it away from them has been quite hard work. But like, imagine for a country to ban something that was so staple to us when we were growing up is demonstrative of where we are in terms of nutrition.
There's this saying that I love. It's what you put on your fork can either heal you or hurt you.
Oh, yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
And I think that there's more that can hurt us nowadays.
Exactly. Yeah. So just to create that awareness, and that's why we're here. We're here to create that awareness.
Exactly.
So now that we've spoken a little bit about all of this, we're going to get into some fun talks now. Tell me something that you're not really good at.
So there's so many things that I'm not good at. Riding a bicycle, I'm terrible at. It's like I have 2 left feet. Whenever I try and go for spinning, I just suck. So I'm terrible at riding a bicycle. But like, just a lot. I think there's a lot of things that I don't think I do very well. I question my mothering skills all the time. But yeah, riding a bicycle, I'm terrible at. Really, really bad. Yeah.
A shocking fact about yourself.
I thought about this and I wondered how deep you wanted to go.
Okay.
And a shocking fact, I microdosed magic mushrooms to help myself get over long COVID.
And it worked. Amazing.
And it worked. And I think that there should be a little bit more conversation about the
openness,
the efficacy of plant medicine. Mm-hmm. I think if I rewound 3 years ago, I would have been like, oh my God, I don't want to say anything. But I think that it's part of nature. It's part of nature. And I think it's been given such a bad name. Like plant medicine in general has been given such a bad name, but we can see the benefits from cacao, mushrooms, different
CBD.
Like, exactly. The DMT, all of that stuff. If taken the right way, it's hugely beneficial. So I microdosed magic mushrooms to get over long COVID. Yeah.
And it's true. It's nature and nurture, literally. If you can have medicine that is going to heal you, and it is nature that is giving it to you, why not?
But you know, the thing about mushrooms, I just have to say this very quickly, is that they are wise beyond belief. Like, they have their own wisdom. They've been on this planet for 800 million years.
Exactly.
They have their own way of understanding how to manage the body. It's phenomenal.
I mean, I highly recommend everyone watch the documentary Fantastic Fungi.
Exactly.
I mean, just on that documentary, the fact that they're literally like the brain. They're the CPU unit of the planet.
Yeah.
That little thing is catching information. You walk around grounding on your garden, barefoot. This is something that I saw that was amazing. Is I started grounding after everything that happened to me, and after I got diagnosed, I started grounding daily, so much more than I did before. And I started noticing all these mushrooms growing in my garden, and I was like, oh my God, this is it. They're growing because they're like, okay, she needs this, she needs that. What does she need? Okay, we're going to put that all in. We're going to create this little mushroom. We're going to come out in this green grass so she can see us. We're very visible and she can eat us. And there's this whole myth about, but it's poisonous mushrooms, poison. Honestly, there is a very small percentage of mushrooms that can kill you and that are poisonous. And you can tell when a mushroom is poisonous and that you shouldn't eat it. It is almost very obvious. I've done a lot of research into mushrooms. Mushrooms helped me a lot through my journey, functional ones and psychedelic ones. They have helped me a lot, but we're not going to go too deep into that today.
I was going to say, we should do an episode of going
on
deep
just
into
mushrooms.
That. Yeah, it's fascinating. Like,
I know.
The modern world is attributed to psychedelics. It's fascinating.
I love mushrooms. I mean, I have some. I have them every day, but not the psychedelic kind, the normal kind. But the psychedelic ones are also very phenomenal and very beneficial. But we definitely
and if microdosed, you're not doing anything, right? You're literally helping the brain synapses.
Exactly. You don't even feel anything.
You're not taking yourself out of normal function. You're purely just supporting the natural neural pathways. So
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's also important to have one of those heavy doses
to
really help adjust.
To give you a different perspective. It opens up your perspective from a very narrow one to a much wider one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Amazing. So what do you look forward to in the future when it comes to your personal self and your career?
Oh, I was talking to my boss about this the other day. I look forward to bringing my experiences and my lessons that I've learned as a human being into the work environment. I'm not someone who's ever thought that I need to fulfill a particular role or an image. But I would like to just bring whatever I can to spaces like this, so we can have conversations about things that are beneficial to people. I would like to be able to go to my clients and say, listen, do you need help with this? Do you need help with this? And just make sure that we speak a very holistic conversation, and we're not stuffy and say, you must do it like this. I don't like that. I don't like that rigidness. I would like to create a little bit more openness. And then also, 10 years from now, I'd love to have so many different mini forests growing everywhere.
That would be so amazing.
A better consciousness around the importance of trees, more green spaces, more people saying no to massive developments because it doesn't benefit them, more clean rivers, more animals thriving. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that come out of this. Yeah.
Me too. I think I'd love to see that too. That is so nice. And that is just so beautiful. I can even visualize it when you're saying, literally, I can just picture the whole thing when you're saying it. Even it's just like, may your words be wisdom, and may the planet flourish through them.
May we all, and may we walk peacefully. I think there's one of these beautiful songs that talks, may we walk our path with great peace and great consciousness, know, and may everyone do that. May we, stop being so hard on one another and just be, okay, you've had a bad day, I've had a bad day.
Exactly.
Let's be there to support one another.
Everyone's got their issues. Everyone's going through something, and we just have to be kinder. I think that's what it is. So, last question.
Yes.
Anything you'd like to ask me, and then we're going to end on that one.
Yes, I would love to know a little bit about your journey. I know a little bit about it, but I'd love to understand where you are now. How are you feeling now?
So I am feeling fantastic. And
you look amazing.
Thank you.
The first thing I said to you was wow, you look amazing. Your skin, you're radiating.
Thank you so much. So recently I traveled to London and I had a huge dental surgery done. Massive dental surgery. I had 3 root canals extracted, 4 implants put in, and 4 cavitations, all of that done in one day from 9 in the morning to 5 in the evening.
Oh my God.
But I went there mentally prepared, and I knew that this is something I need to do, because I was trying to figure out about these joint pains, and I want to embody wellness as much as I can, and anything that is happening to me is happening for me, not against me.
Correct.
So when these inflammations are coming and telling me da 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 da, I know that there is something that I need to work on. So every day I'm trying to work on myself. I'm trying to better myself and understand myself and my body more better, that I can help other people also understand, and create more of this awareness around it.
Why did you have your
root canals extracted? So the reason I had my root canals extracted was there is a huge study and research, and a lot of people can even Google this if they'd like, behind the fact that root canals are directly connected to inflammation in the body. They are directly connected to cancers in the body. They are directly connected to so many diseases in the body. It is a dead tooth.
It's a dead tooth.
Why would you leave something dead in your mouth? 80% of your absorption happens in your mouth. When you eat, when you drink, 80% of it is happening here. You have dead teeth in your mouth. 90% of root canals are rotten. 90%. Because your tooth is hollow, there's an empty space in between, and whatever is being shoved into that is literally just seeping into your body. And if you look at medicine in a holistic way, through acupuncture, through anything, you understand that through energy medicine also, your teeth are connected to all parts of your organs, all parts of your body.
Yes. So every meridian goes through one of the teeth. Yeah.
Exactly. So the meridian that tooth is connected to, that organ is already struggling, it's already weak, it's leaching all of those toxins into that. And I obviously found this out when I got diagnosed, and I was told, look, you need to get your root canals out. And this
Who told you that? The doctors did?
My biodentist in London told me, because I had mercury fillings, so I had those removed initially. And then I said, okay, I'll do the root canal, I'll do the root canals. But then I had all these signals from the universe sending me, like when I went to Cancun, met 3 different people there who were like, you have to get your root canals out. There was this one lady at stage 4 terminal cancer, and she was like, I had my root canals extracted, had these many. I was sitting with another lady who had breast cancer, who had just had her second round of chemo, and she was like, oh, I have root canals. And then funny enough, we were talking about this, and another girl comes, and she's a dentist from Switzerland, and she's like, ladies, go and get your root canals out. And I was like, these are just signs and signals that the universe is sending me through all these random people that I need to get my root canals. I made friends with this amazing guy who also, he was like, sorry, I can't smile, I've just had my root canals extracted. And I was like, seriously, what is going on? Like 4 different people not connected to each other are telling me root canal, root canal, root canal. As soon as I came back from Mexico, I was like, I'm going to do this. I don't care. I know what is expected out of me, that I'm not going to leave any stone unturned. And this was my last stone. And I was like, I'm going to turn it around and go back to my wellness.
Oh my God. And the implants are better?
Yeah. I mean, they're there. They're healing. I'm still struggling with them. But yeah.
And you had everything done at the same time?
Yes, I did everything all at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
So that was my bravery, and that's what I've been up to.
But generally you're better?
I feel better, yes.
Okay.
I feel fantastic.
Okay.
I feel amazing.
Okay.
And yeah, so we're going to end it on that. Thank you so much, Sansi, for gracing us with your presence today, and for sharing and imparting such beautiful knowledge that you have on us and on me also. I think I've learned a lot from you today, and I love learning from you. You've always been a great inspiration to me. So I'm really, really happy to have you here, and I'm just so happy that we got to do this.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to more conversations like this, and well done.
Thank you.
Well done for getting this started.
Thanks, I'm so happy.
Thank you.